Is that? Excuse me. Ain't you Stephen A. Smith's nephew, Josh?
He used to be. What day is it?
It's Tuesday. 2 days after the Super Bowl.
I mean, here another 2 days?
He's so pathetic. He really, really is. Then again, with the news we've got to discuss today, Diddy, Serena, KD, I guess it fits the show. Stephen A. Smith Show in the house. Let's roll. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do at least 3 days a week over the digital airwaves of YouTube. As always, I'd like to take a moment to pause and thank my subscribers and followers for continuing to support the show. On top of the millions of downloads we received over the last few months, courtesy of iHeartRadio, we've also eclipsed 1.08 million subscribers over the last 22 months or so on YouTube. So I can't thank y'all for the love and support enough. Keep it coming. And I'm going to keep on coming. To continue to like and follow the show, just click the bell to get notified for all of our new content. And you too shall be the latest member of the Stephen A. Smith Show family. You'll be notified for all of our newest content, of course. And on top of that, make sure to pick up a copy of my New York Times best-selling book when you get an opportunity. Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes, now in paperback, to give you some insight into who I am and what my journey has been throughout my life up to this point. Just go to straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. That's straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. We got to get started on a lot of different things. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things today. Kanye West we're going to be talking about, of course. Diddy, who knows what's going on with that. President Trump, Elon Musk. There's so much stuff going on, but I've got to get started with the Super Bowl last Sunday between the Chiefs and the Eagles, a game with a few headlines percolating in the wake of the 40-22 beatdown the Eagles handed to Kansas City. The first headline is the ratings for the game. According to Nielsen and Fox Sports, more than 127 million people watched Super Bowl 59, where Philadelphia destroyed Kansas City. That's a new record for American viewership for an event across all platforms. The other headline that came out of the game was the halftime show, courtesy of Kendrick Lamar, that also featured SZA. The set was a 13-minute mashup of Kendrick hits, including the much-anticipated Not Like Us. Remember that? The diss track dedicated to Drake. That performance featured the world's greatest female athlete in Serena Williams, who was seen crip walking to the song. For those of you who don't know, Williams once actually dated Drake. Now, I had some comments on Serena's appearance on the stage on Super Bowl Sunday that I shared on ESPN's First Take, or that following Monday. Apparently, that made many folks agitated because a lot of people had a problem with what I had to say. Before I give my thoughts on that, however, I do owe you the opportunity to see what has created this whole brouhaha and what's got everybody up in the Nancy. Take a look.
If I'm married and my wife is going to join trolling her ex, go back to his ass. Because clearly you don't belong with me. What you worried about him for and you with me?
I gotta get that lick back.
Bye.
There you have it. And because of that, everybody's up in a tizzy. Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I was playing around. It was a lot of fun. Secondly, I didn't utter a disrespectful word towards Serena Williams, so I don't know where the whole Serena protection protocol kicks in. I didn't say anything about her. I said, hey, listen, if I'm a man and I'm married, I certainly don't want my wife showing any kind of energy, positive, negative, or otherwise, to another dude that happens to be her ex. That'll make me think, what's she thinking about him? Why is she thinking about him so much? Why does she feel the need to exert any energy, emotional or otherwise, when it comes to that? That's where I was coming from, but it was more of a gender issue more so than anything else in terms of men and how a lot of men feel. I'm not going to say most. I'm not going to say all because I don't know. I'm going to tell you how I feel. What I expressed is exactly what I meant. I'm not apologizing for it. I'm not condoning it either. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes, And I would imagine that women would appreciate what I'm about to say and what I'm about to do, because that's all. I mean, what do you women say all the time? You want a man to express his emotions. Express yourself, talk to us. That's what you want to say, right? Well, I'm going to talk to you. Hope the Shade Room is listening. I hope all these women out here are listening. Some men are insecure. Now that's breaking news, supposedly. I mean, I didn't know that. I kind of thought that y'all automatically knew that. Not all, not most. Every man can speak for himself. Every man can go online, because you know they are. And they're going to say, nah, that ain't me. Nah, that ain't me. Nah, that ain't me. And I have no proof to the contrary. So I'm just going to tell you, me and the men that I know, most men, we're a bit insecure. When we see energy expressed in the direction of another dude, even if it's vitriol, even if it's venom, even if it's hate, even if it's get back, whatever it is. You ever heard the saying, the true end of any relationship isn't love, nor is it hatred. It's indifference. You ever heard that? In other words, when you simply don't matter, somebody chooses not to expend a scintilla of energy in your direction because you're not worth it. They have a better life. They are preoccupied. And they don't give you a second thought. That's indifference. That's when the end truly arrives. And the reason why some, not most, not all, might react in a certain way as a man, because the men I know tend to think along the lines of, my woman wouldn't have any time to be expending any kind of energy like that because she's happy with me. We good. Now, for those that want to throw out facts instead of touching on a perspective like I would like you to, let me make sure that I let you know that I am aware of the facts involving Drake, Serena Williams, and her husband. Apparently, Drake had dissed Serena's husband in the past. So her crip walking on stage to Not Like Us on Super Bowl Sunday was seen as a slap in Drake's face for disrespecting her and her husband. Drake's lyrics on the song Sidebar, Serena, your husband a groupie. He claimed we don't got a problem, but no, boo, it's like you coming for sushi. Whatever that is. Okay? I'm not about to get into all that. Okay? I just want to make sure that I'm clear that everybody knows that I know. There's history there. All right? And then Serena Williams issued this statement out here. When Kendrick, Lamar, and team called and was like, we've been trying to do something forever. What about this? We loved your crip walk at the Olympics after you won a gold medal. I'm like, Super Bowl? Are you serious? When in the world would I ever be able to dance at a Super Bowl? Never. Let's do it. I knew my winning dance after the Olympics would pay off one day. End of story. Fine. She did it at Wimbledon back in 2013, if I remember correctly. Okay? That's where she's from. She's from Compton. She's from Compton. Kendrick Lamar's from the same area, obviously, same town. Of course. That's her homie. No biggie. Nobody was insulting Serena Williams. I'm simply saying from the male perspective because I thought the males would pick up on it. Well, damn. Not Serena, not her husband. That's their personal business. I'm sure they talked about it before she did it. I'm saying in general, I use that to metaphorically touch on men and women and how men feel about a woman showing any kind of energy, negative, positive, or otherwise, towards an ex. And I got people up in the tizzy, not just on social media. I got people that work with me, people that work for me. Nah. Somebody said Ryan Clark actually tried to save me from myself. Well, I wasn't trying to be saved. I got this opinion. What, am I going to jail for it? I'm going to get cuffed and thrown behind bars because I'm acknowledging what some men want, what some men feel. If your woman is showing energy towards an ex, that involves feelings, that involves emotions, which might make a man be introspective. I had one of my boys sit up there and say to me, well, then that just means you're insecure. Why would you say that publicly? Who cares? You know how many men out here are insecure? Ladies, a lot of us are insecure. We want to have that discussion? Want to have that discussion? You want me to get emotional? Hold on. Here's some tissue, Michael, please. I mean, do I need to get emotional? Ladies and gentlemen, I cry sometimes. Ladies and gentlemen, I get a bit emotional sometimes. Sometimes I feel alone. Sometimes I just want to be held. All of these things are true. Now, you don't express it the way a woman expresses it, and I'm joking around, obviously, in fashion that I did say it, but every emotion that I expressed is true. I've cried before. I've been lonely before. I've wanted to be held before. There's sometimes I come home from a hard day's work, and guess what? Some sex ain't on my mind. I just want to lay down. I just want to lay my head on my lady's couch, on my lady's lap. I'm sorry. I want my head rubbed. I want my shoulders massaged. I want that back rub. I want affection. What, I'm a wuss now? That mean I ain't holding it down? That's what we doing? Be careful before you answer that question, fellas. Valentine's Day's Friday. Forgot about that, didn't you? Valentine's Day is coming up. It's Valentine's Day weekend. Perfect time to express your emotions. Set the stage from now. Listen to your boy. I'm just trying to tell you, okay? What about Serena and her husband? The incident was used to broach a different kind of discussion. Some dudes, to my married boy Galen, especially because you know him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he got to be he got to be Dr. Phil one day and Dr. Drew the next. You're always trying to get in. There's always timed around Valentine's Day and birthday and stuff like that. He think he's slick, but it's okay. All right, it's all right. It's okay. We want to be in touch with our emotions. All I'm saying, folks, is that every man is not secure under every situation and circumstance. And through no fault of a woman, sometimes you'll find yourself in a precarious situation with a man because of his own insecurities that he may or may not have verbalized to you. If you had, and this is not clearly what Serena did, so again, I'm not talking about her. Fellas, what if you had your woman and she saw a friend? Just a friend. Never been with him, or he could be gay, or it could be something. And what if you had a woman and just in your presence, she just ran and jumped into the arms of another man? Right in front of you. Clearly wasn't doing anything. Totally innocent. He could be just a friend. But she leaped off her feet and jumped into his arms. How would you feel? You insecure then? What if you ran in to a female friend of yours in the presence of your girl and you picked her up off her feet and spun her around and gave her this beautiful big hug? How you think your girl would feel about it? See, we want to act like I'm speaking a foreign language. But we know better. There's a lot of us out here that have insecurities. Last time I checked, that's human. If y'all disagree, I'm sorry y'all lying and you choose to lie to the public, even if it's to yourself. But that's just me. I don't want to be somebody that just spews this rhetoric and I don't get a perspective from someone different than myself. So I'm going to introduce my next guest to provide me with that kind of material. But not before I pay some bills via Prize Pick. Check it out. All right, folks, I need you all to stop what you're doing and listen up. You know I love this time of year, right? The NBA season is in full swing. And with all this action going on, the Stephen A. Smith Show wants to make sure you take advantage of it all. That's why we partnered with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You see, with Prize Picks, you pick 2 or more of your favorite players, and then you simply select more or less on their projected stats for the game. And get this, NBA All-Star Weekend is fast approaching, and Prize Picks has got you covered with All-Star protection. All Prize Picks members will be able to utilize a $20 protected play that can be used on any NBA-only lineup over the course of All-Star Weekend. Available to claim on Saturday. So download the app today and use the code SAS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app and use code SAS to get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, yo, run your game. Now, let's look at my picks for today. First up, will Milwaukee Bucks guard Damian Lillard, Dame Time, score more or less than 27.5 points against Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves? I'm going with more. We don't know the status of Giannis. He's been out for a few games. That puts more of a load on Damian Lillard, who is a scoring machine whenever he wants to be. Do I see him putting up 27.5 or more versus Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves? Absolutely. I'm going with more on this one. Next up, the Ant-Man himself, Anthony Edwards, scores more or less than 30.5 points. With this one, I'm going with less. I know Anthony Edwards likes to put on a show. Ain't no doubt about that. We know what his capabilities are. But for Minnesota to really, really get going, they're going to need a collective effort. The Rudy Goberts of the world, the Nas Reeds of the world, and others, they're going to have to step up and do what they're going to do. I think Anthony Edwards is going to give him an opportunity to do just that. Is he going to score 25 or 26? Sure. But I'm going to go with him less on this particular question. Next up, will Golden State Warriors point guard Stephen Curry score more or less than 27.5 points against Kyrie Irving and the Dallas Mavericks? Come on now. I'm going with more. It's Steph Curry going up against Klay Thompson, who's no longer a member of the Timberwolves, no longer a member of the Warriors. He's a member of the Mavs. Steph Curry ain't going to sit idly by and just let him do his thing, and Steph Curry ain't going to try to do his thing. I think Steph Curry's going to get loose. You can go with more on this one. That's a sure bet in my mind. Finally, with Los Angeles Lakers guard Austin Reeves, will he score more or less than 29 points, rebounds, and assists against Utah? I'm going to go with more. Austin Reeves is really coming to his own. He had a 45-point game last week. You look at what he's capable of putting up, how he crashes the boards when necessary. He scores assists. He does whatever he needs to do. Good decision maker. He's blossoming under the tutelage of J.J. Redick. So I want to give props where props is due. To go back to my answers, more on Damian Lillard, less on Anthony Edwards, more on Steph Curry, more on Austin Reeves. Surprise picks. It's more, as in more money. That's what they like to say. It's what I know happens to be true. For more on this story, I want to bring in my good friend. You've seen her before. We haven't seen her in a couple of weeks. I had a bunch of football and basketball stuff to do or whatever. But she's back. The lovely, the wonderful Miss Tori Cooper is back here on the show. What's up, Tori? How are you doing? You heard what I had to say. Any problem with my comments?
You're getting cooked. You're getting cooked on social media, on just a shade room, everywhere. You're getting cooked for this one, Stephen A. Hey, you're used to that, though. It's fine.
Why? What's the
you're
problem?
Used to that. I mean, it's two things happening at once.
What did I say wrong, Tori?
You didn't say anything wrong, okay? You didn't say anything wrong. That is a perspective that is out there. Okay. But you have to acknowledge the other part of the conversation, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if your man is cool with this, your man is cool with this, okay? If your man is cool with this, your man is cool with this. You have to have that conversation, and it starts and stops there, right? So her man said, look, this was bigger than Drake. And she said, this was bigger than Drake. This is because if you look back at the history of it, go back to 2012 when she won the Olympics, she did the crip walk, she got pushback for it. And it's because they said, you shouldn't be doing a performance like that, dancing on a public stage like that has gang connotations to the dance that you're doing. Now, we know that she is reclaiming and celebrating her past. She's from Compton. Kendrick's from Compton, California. Bloods the Crips. There was symbolism in the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl performance. And so this was those two moments in one. And also that was her way of saying, like, look, you're not going to steal the dance I love doing, and I'm going to do it on the Super Bowl stage. So if my man is cool with me reclaiming my narrative, I'm going to be cool with it.
But listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Nobody's disputing that. Nobody's having a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. Do your thing. I'm saying I used it to springboard to a general gender kind of conversation, or relationship kind of conversation. Most men, if they look at you and they saw that you were giving energy in any way to your ex, they would be like, you with me. You supposed to be happy with me. Why is your ex getting that kind of energy? Just like a woman, if she sees you giving any kind of energy. You know how many times dudes go off and they're pissed off about an ex, and a woman is looking at them going like this: what's he so mad about? Why is he reacting that way? I mean, what's his problem? He's with me. Why is he worried about her? You trying to tell me women don't do that?
Of course they do. Of course they do. But in this situation, I really believe it was bigger than that. So, of course, you're going to get cooked online, though, for this, because they're saying, why are you even coming for Serena? This was so much bigger. And they're saying two things. But what I want to say is two things can be real and can be true. And I do agree with what you're saying, that, yes, this is a conversation that's out there. Men are the ones who at times feel this way, that why are you going to be 40 with 2 kids out there and giving this type of energy to another man? There is that conversation out there. And the people who are not going to act like they maybe have that feeling towards it, that they may not, but there are men that hold that perspective. But I think at the end of the day, as long as you're having that conversation with your man, that's what matters.
But Tori, what I'm saying to you is this: I ain't bring up the kids. I didn't bring up her age. All I'm saying is you're in a relationship and happy with your man. Not forget Serena and her husband. Again, that was to springboard towards a bigger conversation, because we were just joking about that. But it was like, damn, that kind of energy. Of course she has the right to do it. Of course it's nobody's business. Of course she could do what she wants to do. She doesn't deserve to be insulted, and neither does her husband. I'm saying, off of a general conversation, there's plenty of men that would have an issue with their woman showing any kind of energy. Let me ask you, can I get a little personal, Tori? Can I get a little personal?
Okay.
You expressed, you pretty happy. You found the man of your dreams, and you very, very happy and stuff like that. I want to ask a question about your man. Nobody got to know who he is. If your man, saw you on a stage giving, it could be negative, but giving extra energy to an ex, how would he feel?
I'd have to ask him. Beforehand, Steven. I'd have to ask him. I haven't had this conversation with him.
So you don't know? Are you, Tori, you sitting there?
I would assume that no matter what, it's a touchy area,
stuff right there.
Stephen A. I would assume that it could be a touchy area. And that's why I would have the conversation with him.
Okay.
Before I would even step foot on that stage.
Hold on. So, got you. No problem. But what I'm saying to you is this, Tori. Is it possible that you know him already? And because I'm not talking about Serena and her husband. Forget that now. I'm talking general, men, women.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that you would never put yourself in that position because he's a man and you know how he'd probably feel?
Again, it's still the Super Bowl. I'm not going to lie. I'm still going to reach out to my man and see how he feels about it. I'm going to see how he feels about it, because if this meant so much to me, if I had this lore, this background of this dance was basically criticized, and then now I have a moment to do that same dance on a Super Bowl stage in a symbolic message to America, I'm going to want to potentially take that. And I'm going to still talk to my man, though, and see how he feels about it. But it's so much bigger than some guy I was kind of maybe dating, and I shared a few kisses with and was caught taking pictures. It wasn't like they didn't even really come out and really express how much their relationship was, and you've probably had relationships too, Stephen A, that maybe aren't as in depth and weren't as serious and maybe don't deserve all this energy either. But that is to your point too. She did give a lot of energy to this moment.
But I didn't give a lot of energy to it until everybody was on social media going, oh, all I did was joke about it on national TV for 30 seconds. That's all I did. And by the way, I got one of my peeps here, want to make sure, because I want to make sure I got to be fair, right? I got to be fair. I got to give the information, right? Oh my God, far be it from me to fail to give the information, right? Drake dissed Serena's husband. This is in the past. So her doing that was also a slap in Drake's face for disrespecting her and her husband. Here was the lyrics in Drake's song about it. Sidebar, Serena, your husband a groupie. He claimed we don't got a problem, but no, boo, it is like you coming for sushi. That's what he wrote, okay? I don't know the damn song. Don't care. All I'm saying is, you a dude. Most do. This is what pisses me off. See, you women, you got men scared of their own damn shadow. So they got to agree with you even when they know our nature from time to time. As men, most, not all, if you have a woman in your life who is showing extra energy of any kind to an ex, it will raise an eyebrow and elevate suspicion, which is why women who don't want to lose their man watch out for stuff like that. And when they don't watch out for stuff like that, it's because they've reached a point where they don't care because he might have pissed them off.
Let me ask you
That's
something.
all I was trying to say.
Let me ask you
Tori,
something. Let me ask you something. So you don't think she had this conversation with her husband? They did have this conversation.
I think she did.
Okay, so why
she did? But why do you keep ignoring the fact that? But why do you keep ignoring the fact that it wasn't about her? It was springboarding towards the male-female dynamic and how most men would feel if their woman was in that position.
That is
not
true.
Necessarily specifically about Serena.
Okay, and I see that point too. It is a gender. There is a point about gender that you're trying to make about how there are men out there that share this perspective, and the ones that didn't come to your defense in social media and basically left you hanging high and dry, acting like they don't feel that way is not true. There's definitely men that feel that.
A bunch of wusses.
And they're not trying to get cooked, Steven.
A bunch of wusses. They were scared.
They're not trying to get cooked. They're not trying to get cooked like you.
Because is that
that's what it is.
Is that because it's Valentine's Day? That's what it is? Is Valentine's Day coming up?
Yeah, they're not trying to.
They're not trying to mess up their
stir the pot.
They're
not trying to stir the pot right now. Things are good. They got their Valentine's Day plans. They got the fake roses. They got the chocolates. The last thing they want to hear about is that. They don't want to hear about, wow, so this is how you feel about that?
So Tori, check out what I'm gonna do. Check out what I'm gonna do, cause see, I'm a man of the people. I'm a man of the people. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, Tori, is I'm gonna look out for all the fellas. On behalf of all the fellas, I'm gonna take this on the chin. I'm gonna act like it's just me. Shannon ain't got nothing to do with this. RC ain't got nothing to do with this. Dan Orlovsky ain't got nothing to do with it. All the men out there on social media, y'all ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm gonna take this on the chin for the fellas.
Steve,
I'm gonna act like it's just me.
Let me ask you something.
When I know damn well it's most of the male species. Go ahead.
So do you really do feel that way personally? This is your personal belief of how you would feel if in this situation, that because people want to know where you fall in certain places for certain topics. So this is where you feel.
Hell yes.
Right.
And let me put it to you this way. If I had a woman who was going to perform on stage during a diss track for her ex-boyfriend, I would look at her and go like this. The fuck you think you're doing? What's the problem? Why do you feel the need to do that? I would look at her and be like, what? Tell me why you need to do that. But that's me. If Serena's husband to do that, that's his business. It's prerogative. I'm not insulting him at all. I'm telling you what I would do.
Yeah.
And I would raise an eyebrow. So he affects you in that way, huh? He still got that kind of effect? Really? Okay. Because, I think I'm gifted enough in a variety of ways not to be a consolation prize for anybody. And I would instantly be thinking of myself as a consolation prize if I saw that kind of energy. That's just me being honest as a dude. If other dudes don't want to be honest enough to admit that, that's on them. To the ladies out there, I don't mind being vulnerable. I don't mind expressing myself. Just showing you where my heart lies.
Is it annoying to you because of the message it sends to other people?
No. I just think that men are not being honest. I just think that the guys out there that have spoken against it, from not Serena and her husband for the last time, in general, the male-female dynamic, relationship dynamic, I don't think men are being honest about that. All I'm saying to you is most men that I know feel that way. Whether they're willing to admit it or not, that's on them. It's a damn shame that I've been left to stand alone on this issue. That's all I got to say. Tori, I got to run, all right?
All right, Steven.
I got to get on out of here for the moment anyway. All right, you take it easy. Thanks for joining me. I got another word from Prize Picks for y'all, okay? Got another word from Prize Picks. Be right back. All right, everybody, listen up. With all the big-time sports action that's happening each and every day, the Stephen A. Smith Show wants to make sure you are taking advantage of it all. That's why we've partnered with Prize Picks, the largest fantasy sports platform in all the land, to help you cash in on all your sports knowledge. You see, Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app where you pick 2 or more of your favorite players and then you select more or less on their projected stats for the game. Choose from any of your favorite players, Luka Doncic, Jimmy Butler, and Zach LaVine, all in the same entry. Then sit back and watch. The list is endless. And now with Prize Picks Flex Friday option, you can still cash out, even if your lineup isn't perfect. That's right, every Friday, just look for the protected play. So win or you'll cash back. And get this, Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account during the sports season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. So download the app today and use code SAS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app and use code SAS to get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, yo, run your game. Now it's time to get to the NBA, where history was made in Phoenix last night as Kevin Durant became the 8th player in NBA history to score 30,000 points. It happened on 2 free throws last night in the third quarter as the Suns lost to the Memphis Grizzlies 119-112. Durant joins an elite scoring group that includes LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Karl Malone, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Dirk Nowitzki, and the one and only Wilt Chamberlain. By the way, LeBron is the only player in league history to score more than 40,000 points. As for Durant, the 4-time NBA scoring champion remains one of the league's best shot makers, currently averaging just over 27 points per game in his 17th season. I've said this early on television, I'm going to say it again. Kevin Durant is one of the top 10 players in the history of basketball. I challenge anybody to find me a dude that's 6'11", 7 feet tall that can do the things he can do with a basketball. On the perimeter, beyond the arc, mid-range game, it doesn't matter. He's a bona fide professional, pure scorer. It's who he is. And strictly when it speaks to scoring as opposed to overall play, I can make an argument that Kevin Durant is one of the top 3 scorers in the history of basketball. Do y'all know that after 12 years in the NBA, he had torn his Achilles? And since that time, he's actually shot better and more efficiently than he was doing before his injury? 53% from the field, 41% from three-point range. That's what he's done in the last 4+ years since he's been back from that Achilles tear. He's been averaging 27.6 points since he turned 30. No NBA player in history has done that. This is who Kevin Durant is. Now, I know it's shocking because he got pissed at me and he called me a clown because I questioned his leadership and all of this other stuff. He can be mad all he wants to. The man got swept 2 of the last 3 years and would have lost in the first round a third straight year if Kawhi Leonard hadn't gotten hurt. But nothing takes away from his greatness as a basketball player. Nothing's going to stop me from acknowledging it. And I happen to believe no matter what he said about me, he's a pretty damn good dude. He just gets emotional sometimes and he lashes out. But he's a good brother. He's never cheated the game. He steps on the court. He performs at a high level all the time. Now, are there some questions about the intangibles? Yes. Does he have the intangibles to lead, meaning to maximize the potential around him to make sure guys are doing what they're supposed to do? That remains a question mark, no doubt about it. But having said that, there's still no question his greatness. This dude's one of the greatest players in NBA history and one of the top 3 greatest scorers in the history of basketball. Look at the numbers. They speak for themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a greater scorer than LeBron James. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a greater scorer than Kobe Bryant. And you know that's damn near sacrilegious to say. But Kobe wasn't 6'11" with a 7'6" wingspan. That was KD Trey. That was Kevin Durant. The only person that I would say wasn't a better scorer than was Michael Jordan. But KD is that dude. Remember, he missed time when he was in Oklahoma City with the foot injury. He definitely missed time when he tore the Achilles. KD's something special, y'all. And I'm not going to deny him his props under any circumstances. Congrats to him. Joining the 30,000 club. I don't think he'll make it to 40 because he'll have to average about 2,000 points a season for the next 5 years. And, you know, he's over 35, so I don't know if he's going to play till he's 40, 42 or whatever. But, hell, I can't put nothing past him because he's that dude. No doubt about it. Congratulations and props to the one and only Kevin Durant. Coming up, Kanye West is making headlines again for all the wrong reasons. I'll get into that straight ahead. But first, Elon Musk holds a press conference inside the Oval Office with President Trump sitting right next to him. We'll talk about that next, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Wait until you hear what I have to say about this. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. Let's go to Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, where Americans saw a different image of power coming from the White House. Elon Musk, the world's richest man and new head of the Department of Government Efficiency, held a press conference from the Oval Office with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, sitting right next to him. Both men defended their efforts to enact sweeping changes to the federal government and limit spending. The move comes as Trump signed an executive order, yet another one, providing new guidance for federal agencies to cut what both men characterize as excessive government spending.
Your detractors, Mr. Musk,
What?
including a lot of Democrats,
I have detractors?
you do, sir,
I don't believe it.
say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for.
Mr. Musk, the White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are in effect policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, our actions, we post our actions to the DOGE handle on X and to the DOGE website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the DOGE organization. And I fully expect to be scrutinized and get a daily proctology exam, basically. Might as well just camp out there. So it's not like I think I can get away with something. I'll be scrutinized nonstop.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that area. If we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest, and we watched that also.
If a judge does block one of your policies, part of your agenda, will you abide by that ruling? Will you comply
Well, I
with that
always
order?
abide by the courts, and then I'll have to appeal it. But then what he's done is he slowed down the momentum. And it gives crooked people more time to cover up the books. Yeah, the answer is I always abide by the courts, always abide by them, and will appeal.
You know, I listened to Elon Musk speaking there. I listened to Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, the 47th President of the United States, formerly the 45th President of the United States, speaking there. And I'm watching Democrats protesting on Capitol Hill, demanding justice. highlighting that nobody elected Elon. I'm hearing politicians, rightfully so, I might add, emphasizing the need to not stand pat and just wait to make change come midterm elections. They're not wrong. We don't need to stand idly by and wait until the midterm elections. Folks do need to speak out, especially our elected officials. But like I told y'all before, my politics, regardless of what you want to think, because most of the time I vote Democrat, that's usually involving the presidency. I didn't tell you how I vote for a gubernatorial seat or a mayoral seat or anything like that. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, I pride myself in being a centrist. I'll openly confess that most people on my team are not. They're leftist. I'll openly confess that a lot of people that I work for, and whatever, regardless of what they say, I think they're righties. They're not fooling anybody. I don't care. I look at the information and I'm going to call balls and strikes like I see them. Elon Musk is a problem. He is a problem because he's the world's richest man. According to numerous reports, he's received money from our government because he's in business with the government. Whether it's Skylink, Tesla, or whatever, I don't have that information in front of me. And he's not an elected official. So not only have the people not elected him, he wasn't even confirmed by the Senate. He's just Trump's guy. That is an incredible, incredible reason to be alarmed, especially when they're looking to have access to the treasury, thereby giving them access to private information involving every American citizen in this country. Certainly, there's a reason to be very, very alarmed. Nobody's denying that. But you see, I'm fair-minded. There's a flip side. I don't know about y'all, but aren't you a little bit suspicious about watching a bunch of Democrats raise holy hell over his access before we find out whatever it is that he's found out? I don't know about y'all, but I don't want laws being broken. I don't want the Constitution being ignored or violated. I don't want the civil liberties of American citizens being compromised. All of that is true. But I have to confess, I do want to know how much money politicians are getting from the moment they arrive on Capitol Hill. What are your investments? Who did you invest with? What kind of information did you get access to enable you to make those investments so you can make money? Do the American people have the same access you have? We damn sure don't have the same health care, from my understanding. These are questions. Why do we have a problem knowing the answers to them? Inquiring minds would like to know. You're an elected official. That makes you a public figure. I think Trump should have given us access to his books. I think it should have been mandated. When he was running for election in 2015 and in 2016, how in the hell did he not have to show us his tax returns? That should have been mandatory. I got a red flag up about Musk, too. I'll be damned if I trust Trump. But nearly 80 million people have spoken. Regardless of what the Democrats want to tell us, and I hear like the number was like 220,000 out of millions. That's what it ultimately came down to, the difference in the polls between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Whatever it is, he won every swing state. He won about 50 counties. He increased in the black, the Hispanic, and the young voter demographic. And the white women that were supposed to come out and be against him in droves because of his position on Roe v. Wade didn't equate to him not being reelected. Somewhere along the line, something missing. I understand the uproar. I understand the need for the Democrats to make noise. DEI is another thing. We'll be revisiting that in the days and the weeks to come. Make no mistake about it. But understand, on its premise, to have somebody elected in office targeting excessive government spending, I'm trying to figure out, how is the taxpayer supposed to be appalled and put off and threatened by that exposure being revealed to us? If I'm not trusting Musk, I'm not trusting Trump, but I'll be damned if I don't want to hear what they have to say about where the hell millions upon millions of dollars of taxpayer money has gone. Oh, I want all those details. Every penny, if you can find out. I want it all. Where has this money been appropriated to? Who has it been appropriated by? What level of benefit did they incur from it? And who suffered because of it? There are strong questions to ask coming down the pike, especially with these executive orders Trump is handing down. You want to get rid of the Department of Education? Well, what kind of damage is that going to do? Where will we be as a country without the Department of Education? What tentacles does it have and does it reach that could detrimentally affect the American people? And if you don't have a Department of Education, how specifically is that going to benefit our country? I want to hear about all of that. I want to hear about that with the CIA, whole bunch of people that you asked to resign or take off or take severance back, whatever you did. I want to hear that with DEI. I want to hear that about the FBI. I want to hear about everything. Because are you doing what you're doing to find money, to make it look like we're doing better because we've located where the money is gone and we've identified where excessive spending needs to be targeted so we don't have to worry about that anymore? Or are you doing it to dismantle the government in such a way that we don't really have one and we're at the behest and the mercy of Donald Trump and Elon Musk? Because if the latter is true, then our democracy is in danger. And autocracy is being entertained, if the latter is true. We don't know. Perhaps we'll find out sooner than later. But I know this much. I want to know where the money is, where the money is gone, and who the hell's been spending it, and how much did they take for themselves. Yeah, I want to know that. Even if it comes from some South African dude worth billions that has no relation to me whatsoever. My interest is in where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides. Okay. That's all I got to say about that. Coming up, Sean Diddy Combs slaps NBC Universal with a $100 million lawsuit. Will it mean anything for his upcoming trial? I'll get into that. But first, what the hell is going on with Kanye West? I've got the latest headlines on the disturbing headlines surrounding this brother. All that and more next, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. I should say I want to, but I really don't want to, but I have to get into Kanye West and his series of disturbing headlines surrounding this entertainer. I don't even know if I can call him entertainer anymore, but the stuff he's getting himself into. West has been sued and dropped by his talent agency after he posted a stream of anti-Semitic views on X. That account has since been shut down. He also put T-shirts with a swastika on sale in his online shop that was also deactivated by Shopify. The company issued a statement that read in part, quote, "All merchants are responsible for following the rules of our platform. This merchant did not engage in authentic commerce practices and violated our terms, so we removed them, end quote. And yesterday, a former employee of West filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles accusing him of wrongful termination, citing gender and religious discrimination. The woman, who is Jewish, alleged he fired her after sending a series of anti-Semitic text messages. West has not commented on a lawsuit or the actions of Shopify that shut down his online website. You know, it's real easy to insult Kanye West. Yay. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make a plea. I'm going to try to talk to the brother. Kanye West is one brilliant dude. His artistry and the brilliance of that artistry cannot be denied. Once a billionaire, who knows what he is now with the damage that he has done to his brand, speaks for itself, and we don't need to revisit that. But my brother, what are you trying to do? Have you really asked yourself that question? You see, ladies and gentlemen, so many people, I'm not going to go there because I know Kanye West lost his mother. I lost my mother after a long battle with cancer. I can sincerely say to you from the bottom of my heart, there is no pain that I've ever felt in my life that comes close to the pain of losing my mother. I'm not going to bore y'all with this. I've told y'all this in the past. I think of her every day, every night. Anybody who's had a wonderful mom in their life, I can assure you there is never a full 24 hours that goes by that misery doesn't touch you. Simply because she's not there. She's not there to hug. She's not there to get on you, scream at you, hug you, love you, or whatever. You just miss. I'd give anything to see my mother right now yelling at me, getting on me about something stupid I may have done. There is no pain. Outside of a parent losing their child, there is no pain greater than losing a good mama or a great one. Anybody that lost their mother knows what I'm talking about, especially the dudes. Not to dismiss women. Of course, you love your mamas and stuff like that, but just like women can be daddy's girls, men can be mama's boys, and you know what I'm saying. People have speculated that Kanye hasn't been the same since his mom passed away. The only part about that that's alarming, as opposed to understanding, is that whether it's grabbing a mic from Taylor Swift and talking about how Beyonce deserved the award instead of her years ago, or the myriad of things he has done since, there seems to be no regard for the potential hurt and pain that he may cause others in a moment, courtesy of one of his diatribes. And at some point in time, that's got to end. I remember one of the most riveting moments I saw on video, social media, was when my man Van Lathan was working for TMZ. And Kanye West came to their studio and said a few things. And I don't recall what it was. But I remember Van Lathan laid him out with such eloquence, with such sincere, heartfelt disappointment. Even Kanye had to roll up on him and say, come on, brother, let me talk to you. Because Van acknowledged, oh man, I'm hurt, brother, by what you're saying. Anybody, just Google Van Lathan, Kanye. I promise you it'll show up. When Van Lathan, Kanye, TMZ. you just find yourself looking at Ye these days and wondering, who's the next Van Lathan that you're going to hit like that, that's going to be in a position to tell you what you're doing is so wrong and so unnecessary. I am not disrespecting Ye. I'm not trying to do that. He's doing that to himself. I'm not bringing up his wife. That's his business. It's far more serious than, what we talk about with Serena and her husband, all that stuff. That was just fun. This is some serious stuff here. And I just hope that somebody's able to touch Ye in a way that can get him to stop doing this. And you don't have to go back to giving us beautiful music and all of this other stuff. You can simply go away and live your best life. Or try to be a constructive voice that really, really touches on the issues in a constructive way that would provoke people wanting to listen to what you have to say instead of wanting to run away from your words because they're too piercing, too damaging, and too unnecessary. That's all I want to say about that. I wish Ye nothing but the best. But he just seems to be on this mission. You know what they say, hurt people hurt people? He seems to be hurt and determined to distribute hurt. And I just don't understand it. Because he's such a brilliant, brilliant brother. I just don't understand it. Before I get on out of here, I want to address the latest news on Sean Diddy Combs. Lawyers for the music mogul filed a $100 million lawsuit today accusing NBC Universal and Peacock for defamation. The suit is related to claims made by accusers in the documentary Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, released earlier this year. The documentary makes several claims against Combs, including the sexual assault of minors, and accuses him of murdering a series of rivals and close friends, including longtime partner Kimberly Porter, rappers Christopher Biggie Wallace, of course, Notorious B.I.G., and Heavy D, whose given name is Dwight Arrington Myers. Diddy's attorneys released a statement related to the suit that reads, in part, quote, in making and broadcasting these falsehoods, among others, the companies seek only to capitalize on the public's appetite for scandal without any regard for the truth and at the expense of Mr. Combs' right to a fair trial. Mr. Combs brings this lawsuit to hold them accountable for the extraordinary damage their reckless statements have caused, end quote. Combs is currently being held in jail on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges, as you all know. His trial is expected to begin later this spring. Let me say this, because it's important. I don't know about the innocence or guilt of P. Diddy. One could easily presume he's guilty because of the video we saw of him beating up his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. One would surmise, based on these docuseries that have been put out about him, that there's a strong level of guilt. I had one person look at me and say, if any of it is true, he's a monster. Here's what I have to say. His lawyer is right. His lawyer is right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is America. You are innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. For those of you quick to say that's not applicable to the court of public opinion, let me remind you of something. While that is true, undoubtedly so, it does not negate the fact that the court of public opinion can influence the court of law. And by virtue of that reality, certain things shouldn't be exposed to the court of public opinion until a trial takes place. See, that's the problem. I said this a couple of weeks ago. It is wrong for these networks to be allowed to do these kinds of shows on him before his trial. Do whatever you got to do. I'll watch all the OJ stuff if you want me to. I remember when Courtney Vance imitated Johnny Cochran. He was sensational, okay? Watching, the OJ stuff, and I get that. But to do something before the trial makes it that much harder for the defense team to find a jury of his peers who are unbiased and neutral and will only judge based on the evidence presented in a court of law. It's not right. Even if he's guilty. It's not right. Since his guilt hasn't been proven yet, for somebody to be allowed to be broadcasting these pieces. Talking about him, he can't defend himself. He can't say anything. He's at the mercy of former handlers, former employees, former colleagues, former girlfriends, and all of this. He can't say anything because he got to deal with sex trafficking and racketeering charges. And now is when everybody comes out with this? There's just something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. Innocent until proven guilty. News is one thing. The video by CNN exposing him beating up Cassie Ventura, that's news. That's news. Another charge coming down the pike, another alleged victim. That's news. But a docuseries with a bunch of allegations being thrown out about who he was, what he did, how he lived, who he did it to, whether or not drugs and alcohol were involved or baby oil and all of this other stuff. Wait a minute. Homeland Security coming out with that's news. That's news. They ain't a docuseries. That ain't scandal. That's news. That ain't scandal. That ain't how do you get away with murder? Dexter, Ray Donovan and shit like that. No. Ain't supposed to be that. It's supposed to be the news until the trial. So I applaud his lawyer for taking this position. And I think it's important that he puts forth the best defense for himself possible, because indeed it is absolutely true that his life is on the line. This brother's in trouble, in a world of freaking trouble. And I just hate to see stuff publicized before he goes to trial. It should have been during or after. And during, if they're secluded and they don't have access to see the docuseries that's being put out about them. It's like there's too many people out there trying to influence the public to convict them in the court of public opinion, thereby insinuating that it would influence the court of law. That ain't what our country is supposed to be about. It just isn't. I got to get on out of here, but I'll be back in the next couple of days, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Thanks again to the wonderful Tori Cooper for coming on and bringing balance to my discussion about Serena Williams and her husband and men and women and our insecurities and all of this other stuff. It's necessary to talk about that stuff sometimes, right? I give thanks to my little nephew, Josh, for lying to the public about how he was stuck in the airport, because it was clearly a scene for video, because I'd be damned if he was stuck in the damn airport. That's 3 days. Please stop. But that's what he wanted to say to y'all. So be it. Until next time, everybody, peace and love. It's Stephen A. signing off. Talk to you later.